What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show of the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. And yes, we are awesome. I am Justin, here with Meelz. Meelz TV, what's good, man?
Yo, it is the 1st of June.
Yes.
That's all I got. I mean, or May 31st, depending on when you listen to this. But it is the 1st of June, which
That's scary.
means, yeah, it's 5 months down. Where is this year going? What are we even doing, bro? Like, I'm so, I don't know, man. What is this year? How's been 2020 for you? How can you say that? Well,
Well,
actually, nah, it's been pretty
now,
rocking for you.
now that May is done, uh, I'm good. My year has started.
I'm thinking of my year, and I'm like, damn. I don't know about this year, bro. I don't know. I don't know about 2022. I could probably I'm not saying that I'm nosediving. I'm not saying that, it's all bad. But I'll tell you what it ain't. Good.
I mean, I'll say a lot less deaths than the past 2 years. I'll say that. As far
that's
as
true. Well, yeah.
non-COVID related type shit, but like
Non-COVID, yeah. This
2020 was just like shit. When is it gonna stop? 2021 was like, damn, this is just part two. 2022, by comparison, other than gas prices, I would say, and the Russia Ukraine stuff. Damn, it is pretty shitty year too. Damn,
mm,
like just running through it, I'm like, damn, you're
Biden
right.
trash, just everything, man. It's just the year that we
Biden,
live in.
hey, man, like Cat Williams said, Biden is 99 years old, bruh.
Yo, can
What?
I actually? I want to say something, but I feel like this is definitely going to be incriminating on a public forum as we speak.
Ah,
But
fuck it.
all right, I mean, all right, you're into it. Have you ever been in? Not necessarily been in this situation,
Oh
but
no.
have you ever like? Have you ever seen an opportunity to commit a crime and be like, you know what, that would be a great opportunity?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, yeah. No, now it's like I look at shit like, damn, I could steal. Then he'd be like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I was walking to work this morning and I work at a college, but everyone's out because the school's closed and it's like commencement weekend like that. So the entire block is like empty. So
congratulations to all the new graduates. Also,
congratulations to all the new grads. So I was walking down the street and then this lady comes out her building and like I'm like 3 feet away from her and she goes in and like opens up her car to get in her car. And I don't know why the first thing in my mind was like, yo, I bet if I like Cesaro uppercut her right now, I could steal that car.
all right. Can we change the subject,
I don't know why I thought that. I
sir?
was like,
This is not GTA.
I was like, I feel like I could steal that car. But then I was like, cars are like too easy to track and stuff like that. Like I would have to take off license plates. Where would I go with who? You know,
That's crazy.
that's what it's a random thought that's in my brain. I'm sorry that I shared it with you guys. But that was like that took like maybe like 15 minutes of my morning, kind of like weighing the ethical, you know, ramifications, and then also like, would it be
But also,
possible?
what if she upped the tool on you and then shot your ass?
See, I mean, that's a thing you got to think about. Like, what if she shot me? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things like, and I think these are the kind of questions you gotta ask yourself that will help you to stop
Before you
committing crimes.
commit a crime.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like,
Let me tell you.
maybe in another life, maybe in another lifetime.
Let me tell you right now. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Uh, that is the most crazy thing you've ever said and admitted on this show. If anyone
I
knows,
feel like this is like the OJ book. Like, if I would have, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
If I would have, here's how I would have done it. That's kind of the extent of this. Not that I would actually did it, nor did I actually do it. But
Well,
if
I'm
I
glad you did.
did do it, no,
I'm glad you
you know,
didn't
I got
because
a podcast to maintain. I can't be out here
you,
being crazy.
if you know, I'm glad you didn't do that because if you did that, I would be more conflicted than people looking at Nikita Lyons' social media today.
Wait a minute. What happened on her social media today?
She put up, obviously nunchucks were involved,
Oh,
but
wait.
she put
All
up a
right.
video with a song from an artist who was basically Q-pilled. And if you don't know what that means, Q-pill means someone who subscribes to the QAnon variety.
Oh no.
And one of the lyrics was, I believe one of the lyrics was, storm the Capitol and walk around the city gates. And
Oh
yeah.
Lord. Oh, so that's why they're calling her Booty Giuliani.
Yes. All right, quick technical difficulty there, but we're back.
That's the last time I speak about this thing on this damn podcast.
Yeah, I think the government was they had our phone.
Clearly.
Definitely had our phones tapped. But I want to bring attention to the patrons for this first 6 months of the year. You guys have really showed up for us and really given us so much love throughout the first 6 months of the year. Even though this year has been shitty, you guys have made it really one of the best years for us so far in 2022. You guys got the hot chip challenge. You guys have got some crazy shit coming up from spot callers, but you guys also got some really dope ass fucking content coming out of us on the pipeline. I know Meelz is working on something really top secret for the summertime. I already know.
Yes.
That's all he can say right now.
That's all I can say about that, but yes. I'm working on a lot of things for the summer apparently.
Summer at Kame House is here. It's back.
It's back. I love it. Listen, I slaved over a hot Final Cut Pro for damn near like 4 hours on Saturday trying to make all these things, man. Listen, man. I felt like I had a point to prove to myself after the unfortunate events of last week. I was just like, you know what? Other people don't define me. I define me.
Yes.
So I had to just remind myself that I'm the shit. And yeah, so I got a lot of stuff working this summer. We got a lot of stuff coming up pretty damn soon. So just make sure you stay tuned. This week we're gonna have a new episode of the Rewriters Room. Rewriters Room is officially back, and they will be rewriting. Just to give you a preview of it, they will be rewriting a lot of the tenures of GM/authority figures that have appeared on WWE television. So
Man.
you might hear some stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, they've been gone for a while. Now they're officially back, so I'm assuming they're gonna have a jam-packed show for everybody here. So make sure you tune into that this week. And tune into everything else on RNC Radio. To be honest with you, there's a brand new episode of RSPN. They made the official announcement. RSPN, the finale, the finals, the final episodes. Make sure you tune into the ride because it's going to be an exciting ride. Make sure you tune into the BLT pod. Make sure you tune into the Black Print. Make sure you tune into Black Variant. Damn, we got a lot of black shit on here, man.
A whole lot of black shit.
Listen. And more.
Bittersweet. Shout out to RSPN. Bittersweet, but
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
They had a run. They had a damn run. Damn it. But we have to switch over to Patreon really quick because we got to talk about AEW. You ready? You ready, Meelz?
Listen, we're gonna talk about Double or Nothing on the Patreon. If there's any reason for you to get, you pay the $5 or above. To be honest with you, and to be honest with you, before we get into Patreon, sorry, I just want to speak to the non-patron folks at this point. Listen, our Discord is undefeated. I'm just letting you know. It is undefeated in various ways. Some of the news that came out yesterday, we've known for almost a year. So I'll give you that. But the Patreon is undefeated. The Discord is undefeated. Shout out to everyone in Discord. We are undefeated.
We ain't talking about the clothing line, but let's go through to Patreon right now. We'll be right back on public. All right. AEW, Lord, double or nothing.
2022.
Well, I mean, did you watch the whole show? I bounced around as I usually do.
So I did not rewatch the entire show. I watched what I could for as long as my streams would let me. Because if there's one thing, I mean, when you don't have a network, to be honest with you,
Harder to watch.
don't have a streaming platform, you kind of go back to the primitive ways of how you used to watch television, which was like, yo, who got the link?
Double or nothing. Lord.
It was definitely more of something than the other, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think that it's really interesting to see the critical reaction to this show, because it's like I see like, oh, a long show but highly entertaining, and it's just like then you look at like the actual like Twitter, and it's just like, nah, it's not so much so, and it's like it seems to be like, as with every AEW show, it picks up at the end. So I would say like those final 3 matches, a lot of people liked, and then like everything else in the middle was just kind of like, whatever. You know, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 matches on the show. Going up against a game 7 of which, like, I don't even know what Tony Khan was so afraid of for this game 7. It does, like, no one who is watching NBA is gonna say, "Oh my God, it's 11 p.m. Let me go buy AEW Double or Nothing for $50 right now." What? Like, what's the overlap there? Who was double screening it? who who was doing both? I need to know because I just highly doubt there's like there's a run over. You know what I mean? Like, I just highly doubt that there is one with that audience. They're a bunch of they're not people who are tapped into the game 7 like that.
And not, I mean, well, the game 7 is game 7. It was a great game in my opinion because, you know, let me not say anything because I got Heat fans that listen to this, but but nonetheless, it was a great game. But yeah, I didn't see the kind of the overlap, to be honest with you. And I think they did, to be honest with you, I think they formatted the show in such a way where they managed to get everything important to not overlap with the game. And
Right.
everything that wasn't important to kind of like whatever happens at this point. Because trust me, there was a lot of fluff on the show. There was a lot. Like I'm pretty sure I tuned out at various points during this thing. Like, and you know, these long bloated shows, I even think when well, thankfully WWE doesn't do it anymore, especially with WrestleMania and stuff like that. But these long bloated shows, man, they don't they don't hold the attention the same. And I kind of felt like what he wanted to go with was Double or Nothing. It's in Vegas, big fight feel. A lot of these fights end up lasting past midnight and stuff like that. When you look about boxing or UFC or something of the rather, I ain't this ain't boxing or UFC at all, man. It's professional wrestling.
Yeah. Hey man, it's I'm glad I ain't watch it live because I already watched Raw somewhat live during the week, and that's enough for me. I guess some of the major hits here. We'll talk about MJF on a little bit later, so we're gonna save that one for later. Hardy's and the Young Bucks.
Poorly promoted and poorly executed, just in general, in my opinion. A dream match that was a dream match 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That didn't feel like it lived up to the title of a dream match of generations truly crossing. And then it really didn't live up once two of the old people in there were basically injured. And, you know, they're getting news reports from Wrestling Observer News Report that Jeff Hardy was really banged up after the Darby Allin match. And I was like, really? No shit.
A match in which he won, by the way.
A match
Like,
that was a qualifying match.
yeah.
It was why did they have to go so hard? I'm confused of why they had to go so hard. And why
It,
was he
it
even in the tournament if he was never even gonna win it and was gonna be in this tag title program anyway?
I looked at clips from that match, and I was like, this is definitely not good to show on your just because like I know that there was no way that the E would have trotted him out like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they would have. But it's like again, when he leaves, everyone cheers, everyone loves that shit, and then when he gets there, it's like, oh no, there's a problem, and that's my main issue. It's like, and I guess like this is just a wide, I guess, observation of this show and just AEW conversation in general. It's tiring to me to
Mm-hmm.
continue like to have conversations about this show. I really feel for Quan and Cyrus sometimes, or really more so Cyrus, where it's just like it's tiring to have the conversation and to see people kind of like wipe certain shit under the rug because it has to do with this company. And it's the conversation tiring. The discourse whenever their shows are on is tiring. No one ever wants to tell the truth, or some people are going too far with some of the things that they say. Like it's tiring to talk about. It's like, yo, every time someone says Jeff Hardy's a game changer, was that a game changing performance? There's a couple other things here that are like made me roll my eyes. Adam Cole and Britt Baker. Come on, man. All right, back on public. On Patreon, you get to hear me have a uh exasperated review of Double or Nothing.
I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. But speaking of Double or Nothing, we got to get into one of the most, I don't know, man. Wrestling news is so weird. Wrestling news is so weird. One of the most I can't tell you how much I cared about something and then literally maybe like 30 minutes later no longer cared anymore just from the way it was presented.
Yeah, didn't
Um
care. Didn't care. Didn't care. But obviously, we're talking about the MJF thing. Um, what was it? What was this weekend?
this weekend. So, actually, well, let me not say anything. All I'm saying is join the Discord. But
Well, on the disc. No, yeah. You're right. Join the Discord. But go ahead.
however, there was some news that broke late Saturday night that MJF wasn't happy and he was prepared to miss Double or Nothing and may or may not have had a flight scheduled out of Vegas.
Yes.
Would he have made Double or Nothing? We don't know.
Then hours
Go on.
after that, he wasn't on the plane.
The plane
Then I
part is
said,
the worst part for me. The plane part is the worst part for me because it wasn't even necessary to part of the story at all.
so dramatic, so like at this point, it's like I don't even care if he go. Well, he can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so what is the unless they just fire him, which they don't do over there. And the idea is that MJF no showed a fan event earlier that day on Saturday. He no showed the fan event. People saw him playing craps. I feel like he was doing that in the view of fans so that they would see him out playing craps and not at the fan event.
That's a steez. That's literally what he does.
Yeah. And I feel like he's very aware of, what the fuck he's doing and how he does it and all of that. And a lot of the people were up in arms and all this type of shit. It is pretty embarrassing. A lot of people are saying this is a work. Brian Alvarez seems to think it's a storyline. I don't know who this benefits if it's a storyline, Meelz. I just really don't. If it's a storyline and it turns out that it's fake, how as a fan could you trust this company anymore?
Yeah, I don't see why. To be honest with you, I don't think anything. I feel like these are the same people who call the Cody thing a work, right? That Cody was supposed to become the GM of ROH, and all of this was a work, right? Like at some point, you got to realize like how business is actually done and how people actually respond in these kind of situations. This is not a very. This is not a situation that's just within wrestling, right? Like people get fed up of places and want to leave all the time. People want more money, and if they don't get it, they threaten to leave all the time. This isn't a situation that's just wrestling based. So to kind of like call it a work, um, just because it's shout out to MJF, and I would understand it's a work, but I also feel like he has a not necessarily a limit, but I don't think he would play like that, especially when it comes to like stuff that he's wanted and stuff that he's voiced. Like if you've listened to the things that he has said over the last 6 months in various interviews and various things like that, and the motions that he's made toward WWE and contracts and all this other stuff like that, you can clearly see that this is something very, very important to him. So I'm not sure why this would be a work.
Well,
Pay him.
yeah, I mean, my thing is this: they could just pay him, and this would be all over. You know, this would be a wrap if they just pay the nigga. Just pay him. No one will be talking about it.
He's worth it, in my opinion. For AEW, he's worth it.
Or you could not pay him, and then the idea becomes, right. So this guy who you signed on a beginner deal when y'all first started, y'all have since got a TV deal. You have a rights deal coming up, which I'm pretty sure they probably told him to wait for. You've seen CM Punk come in. You've seen Keith Lee come in. You've seen Adam Cole come in. You've seen pretty much the whole Undisputed Era come in. You've seen Tony Storm come in. You've seen all manner and sorts of people come in since you've been signed and grow into this behemoth of a startup company. And they're going to tell you that we can only give you this much. I would, fuck you too. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's not out till 2024," and I'm like, "Yes, but 2 years in, you get an extension, and they want to see if they can extend you at that point." So that's probably why this conversation is happening right now. They probably had a conversation with him, probably said they can't do it, and this is the result, right? I get it. I get the anger. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. Leave me and my family alone. This is nearing Kanye Kardashian level of bullshit. Leave me, Will Smith slap level of discourse. Leave me and my fucking family alone, bruh. If you're gonna leave, fucking leave. Because then the idea becomes it double or nothing. Will he show up and will he care? You had everyone literally they were analyzing that tape like the JFK assassination, bruh. Did he care? Did it look like he wanted to be there? Was he cool?
He was professional. Bro. I'll tell you.
He is.
I know you got a lot of flack for that, but I would say that he was. I'm not saying he was not, but he showed up and he did the job, and whether he had the boo-boo face on or not, he showed up and he did the work. He didn't oversell. He didn't undersell. He took every power bomb because he wasn't the only one kind of that was affected by this. The entire last 6 months of Wardlow's career would be affected if he just didn't show up.
Yeah.
How would that have stunted how things have gone for him? So I think it's admirable that he showed up because everyone likes to throw in our face like they're independent contractors. They don't have to show up where they want to. I was like, well, they kind of have a contract. Like you get sued if you really. But
if I did anyone say, oh, man, I hope MJF is looking at his contract or his legal options.
They ain't say that shit. But no, I think it's admirable, and I think it's professional that you showed up and still did the job, especially for someone, for what it meant for someone else in that company. He showed up, did his job, got powerbombed 10 times, took the stretcher out, and then flew out of Vegas, apparently. And according to
old Sean Ross, I have a lot to think about. The fuck you got to think about?
Are they gonna pay you or not?
Yeah, white people get on my nerves, man.
I just want to know if they're gonna pay him or not.
They better pay him. They fucking better pay him, bro. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's a ton of different variables that go into this, and one of the things is what you just explained with everybody coming in, money, deals, all these other things. The other variable is, man, turn on Monday Night Raw. See Cody Rhodes flapping in the wind with his, looking like money, talking with the best of them, main eventing a pay-per-view, by the way, coming up on Sunday, which we'll do predictions for in a bit. But that's another aspect to this. Is like, is the grass really greener on the other side? And this is someone who's had dreams of going to the WWE and has not made it very, has not minced words that, yeah, if the opportunity is there, I would definitely like to go. But he also knows his own worth, which is something that I think, to be honest with you, a lot of people in the wrestling business, you're kind of like taught that by experience. You kind of taught, you go through various iterations of Diddy and the Locks and their contract things that happened. Remember when that happened on radio? This
Yeah.
might we might have a whole generation we might have alienated because of that. But go look it up. It's on YouTube. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Um, you gotta to kind of know your worth. By wrestling, you kind of go through various iterations of that. Especially on the independent scene. Do I want this? Do I want that? I'm not offering to give you this, but I'll give you this, et cetera, like that. This is a man who is taking up television time every week. Every week. First hour of the show. You can guarantee MJF will be there speaking, competing, pushing a storyline, something of the rather. I'd say if you're willing to put him in that first hour every week and feature him on the show, pay the man. Because there's a million
Damn.
other people that you ain't featuring on that show that's still getting paid and probably getting paid more than MJF, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, CM Punk is for sure getting paid more. And my thing is this: how much money do they got left? There's supposed to be a meeting. Allegedly, MJF supposed to be meeting with Tony Khan, but also Tony Khan's they're in California this week. They're at the Forum on Wednesday. Huge show for them. I think it's damn near sold out, and if it's not sold out, it will be on Wednesday. Big accomplishment for them. I'm not gonna take that away from them at all. It's a real arena. This should be clear. The Forum. It's a real one. You know what I mean? I mean, it ain't crypto, but but what is to come from that? You know what I mean? What will happen there? They're allegedly taking them off the road. There's so much misinformation and news. But I think the biggest thing about the news surrounding not Cody Rhodes, but MJF. Did you notice that on Patreon we didn't talk about Athena at all? Like we just kind of like skipped past her.
I don't want to say something.
You want to regret?
I don't know if I'm gonna regret it. I don't know if I'm gonna regret it. So I'm just gonna say. Someone told me if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, who am I to what are we to believe? It's going to come out of this. I mean, the MJF is a huge part of this show, and a huge part of all of this. Like, who's to say?
It's still amazing to me. People are still getting signed. That's
Yeah.
what's shocking to me. That they're still getting signed. There's no room on this television show, and people are still getting signed. I'll be honest with you, Athena. Is she a great performer? Absolutely. Do you need her on this roster? No. Y'all got too many people. Y'all don't have enough time for all these people. Poor Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho is supposed to be the face. She ends up getting booed in the result of this. You know why? Because of negligence. Because of taking a person that people cared about and pushing them to the back for 2 years, 3 years at this point. So where do you go? Where does the development of all this talent go? Where does Jungle Boy go? Where does Darby Allin Star have to take a look at his contract? And he's going to be like, yo, dude, is this something that I kind of want to do?
Yeah.
Hey, people got to, they spell it out for you. We don't got to spell it out for you. Just
And
look at the moves. Look at the moves that they do and just understand that, like, there's a pattern. You know what I'm saying?
And then you got like on this Wednesday show, 10-man tag match. And the Hardys are in it. Or no, I think he got taken out of it. Let's talk about Jeff Hardy. There's a lot of AEW news this week because they just had a pay-per-view. They taken him out of the tag match. There was a 10-man tag announced. They took him out of it, I believe. I think this is the match they're talking about because he's too beat up. He's too hurt.
I Jeff is. I can't even. he don't need to be actively competing. He just doesn't. Jeff Hardy
Yeah.
needs to be a part-time wrestler, be an attraction of something. I'm sure you know what I'm sure they're gonna do? Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk at some point. I
I
think they're
won't
gonna
be.
do
I won't be there for that one.
that. And I can't wait to see how they shoot on each other or whatever the hell they're gonna call it. But yeah, nah, it's just I don't know. You know what? Shout out to their show. I'm sure this show will do well. There's no NBA this slot. The NBA is not games don't resume until Thursday. They've got a clear wide open on TBS.
I don't think they'll ever cross a Wednesday, I believe, for the entire finals run. So
Yeah. So they should be good. They should be, straight at this point. We'll see what happens with the show, man. We'll see what happens. The big execs, the big wigs are there. He's like, I couldn't
are
go
you
to the meeting, guys. Come to our
are you
show.
are you counting 1 million a week now, or you think it's going to be 900 a week?
High 900s to a million, maybe. High 900s, middle 900s. You know what I'm saying? It really depends on. Well, this show I think is definitely going to hit a million.
We gonna see if Punk
Go ahead.
don't consistently bring them those numbers. We gonna see what they saw in WWE when he wasn't doing it either.
Well, I think they're so short-sighted, but they were so willingly short-sighted. Like you look at Tony Khan during that media scrum, and I got words for the media scrum, but you look at him during that media scrum, and it seems like just the way he does business to me, even explaining the Stokely Hathaway, and shout out to our guy Stokely Hathaway. He was now all elite, so he's in AEW right now. But even that just kind of conversation itself seemed very, very strange to me about how you do business. Saying I didn't know him yesterday, but I signed him anyway. Like I didn't meet this man, but I signed him anyway. And then I put him with one of my biggest stars. I don't know, it just seems kind of weird.
Also, why would you sign someone you don't know?
I'm not.
Why would you sign someone you don't know?
His
Is that
no
what happened?
compete ended on Saturday. No compete ended on Friday. He was free on Saturday. They said, "All right, let's scoop him real quick." I'm like, that's not how business works. But you know what? I'm not gonna.
Bro, if I'm MJF, I'm like, what? I'm like, what? There has to be some type of y'all need to come together because y'all getting the gaffle of the year from this nigga. Y'all need to come together. If y'all ain't getting paid, think about who else not getting paid, bro, or who else is comfortable. In the guys who just think about the guys who got signed in the beginning that are not happy right now because they were definitely not seeing the amount of money that these people they're signing for more and more money.
Poor what's my homegirl's name? Who hasn't been featured on Dynamite in like 500 days. Sunny Kiss. Come on now. Sunny Kiss was there at the beginning. Was there at the podium in 2019. Sunny Kiss was there. Now, if I see her in the month of June, y'all some dirty niggas. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Gaffle of the fucking year.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, we just talk about this. I got a couple words about the media scrum because there was a thread on Twitter, that kind of really what happened?
From Trevor Dame,
yeah, from Trevor Dame, talking about how the media really doesn't ask the questions that you need to be asking at a media scrum, and just kind of feels like it's a boys club or a girls club or people who he just likes. They're being invited and kind of corralled there, and I couldn't agree anymore. There was no conversation about MJF, which was wild to me. He's on the show.
No one said anything.
No one said it. No one followed up. No one wanted to pry. He says, I won't, I'm not talking about this. And no one followed up. It's like, well, Do you expect things to go well? Do you expect things not to go well? Like, would you like? No one followed up on that. And any other, I watch NBA athletes be held to the fire by the media after every damn game, whether they win or they lose. I watched Jimmy Butler have to answer a question about a three he launched at the end of the game. God, I hope Cornell not listen to this. That didn't go in. But you know what? He took it like a champion. He took it like a G and said, you know what? This is some shit I would do every time. I trust myself and I trust my teammates and my coach trusts me. So I trust that I made the right decision. And it just didn't work out, bro. This is the same. They're held to the fire every single time. And there's no one that holds, no one in wrestling. This is why the wrestling business is so weird and why wrestling media is so weird, because no one holds these people to the fire. No one. No one holds them accountable for the things that they do or the decisions that they make or anything of the line. No one wants to ask the actual tough questions. They want to be invited to Double or Nothing and go to Vegas.
And that's why I say, and I said on Patreon earlier, that like having conversations about AEW is so tiring because they operate outside of any type of recourse or judgment at all. If Mark Cuban or fucking anyone else, I can't think of executives right now, but if anyone did what Tony Khan did and continued to do, there would be think pieces and articles. They would be calling for their heads. Even
went on a explicative laced tirade about CM. That's what they would have said. Any other news outlet, the man was cussing, like pretty much cussing out Eric Bischoff and saying like, this fucking guy right here is the fucking guy, and that's my fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? Fucking $1 million, 1 million every time.
Just weird. Also, winning the Friday Night Wars, factually wrong. Also, we didn't even know what's the war against. The evening.
No one asked the question. What war did you win, my nigga? Friday Night Wars.
When did you win the Friday Night War? Is he talking about the time where SmackDown was on another channel?
SmackDown was on half an hour longer, and this nigga had to put on Daniel Bryan and what's my Japanese nigga's name?
Suzuki.
They had to put him on YouTube at 10 o'clock to make sure people would tune in at this thing. To go up against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, by the way. Friday Night Wars, because of him, we won the Friday Night Wars. What are you talking about? Y'all don't get paid enough? Y'all don't get enough. People don't watch the show as much as they do with the other show. Y'all ain't got the bread they got. Y'all ain't got the talent they got. Y'all ain't got the money they got. What war are you winning, bro? The war in his brain, bro. The war against drugs.
I don't want to say he's a drug addict, but not publicly. But no, it's sick shit, man. It's really sick shit. I think that it's definitely a issue where it's like, again, it's tiring to talk about this shit. It's really tiring to say, okay, so what's gonna happen now? Or what happened when the Big Swole thing came out and he did that and no one said anything?
Or what happened? The people who did ask him the question, you know what they said? You know these people that you guys love that asked him this question? What about the Big Swole thing? They asked a question and he answered it and it was like, well, I asked it. So what do you guys want? What else do you want me to do? I asked the question. Like, come on, man. And then, just because he's, he shows up on people's shows, does a couple of interviews, it was like, oh, what other, head of a wrestling company would show up and do interviews like this? I'm like, let me be honest with you. Some people don't have the time to do this, bro. Yeah. I don't hear from the head of I very seldom hear from the head of companies or organizations for reasons because they're working. You know what I'm saying?
Who's gonna hold them to the fire for that weird tweet about telling Dana White that Money in the Bank had to move to a different place?
The UBS Arena. Oh, we gotta talk about that because they moved from the what was it, Allegiant Stadium?
They moved from Allegiant Stadium to MGM Grand.
To MGM Grand. Listen, man, plays fuck up. Too much dip on the chip.
Yeah. It was, well, remember, we didn't even know what day it was going to be on for a long time because they were trying to figure out where they were going to fit it between the UFC event. I think there's a couple other events. There was a lot of stuff going down. There's a lot of stuff going down that weekend, bro. There's a lot of shit. They're lucky they ain't moved the date, but there's a lot of shit going down that weekend. They just couldn't compete, and that is what I know. Like I know it's the conversation is going to be crazy around it, but I mean, listen, as long as they realize that they can't do 3 stadium shows in a row like that, and they learn from that, you got to learn.
You got to learn. This is absolutely it. You got to learn.
It's good business sense. Just move it. They still sold 15, 16K. That pretty much would fill MGM, right? Damn near, right? They're still selling tickets this Friday, but they don't got much to go, because a lot of the people that had bought tickets to Allegiant, they got moved to MGM. So they're just going to go over there. What's the big deal?
But he had a conversation. Couldn't wait to tell Dana White about it. I'm sure Dana White was like, oh, word. Word. That's lit. Why would you tweet that too? It's so weird.
He's a weirdo, go. He's a weirdo. We gotta do some predictions, but before we do predictions, Jeff Jarrett's back. VP of live events. He always comes back. They released him and brought him back and gave him more money. How about that? You know how to get to it.
He's got a bag, and like this has got to be his 4th different decade.
Yeah. Vince will always forgive you. So that's why that's when people look at the Sasha and Naomi thing. I'm like, yeah, when they clear this up, they'll be back and
be doing big things, man. They be doing big things too. I mean, Vince ain't gonna stop a big star from big starring because of some petty shit.
That chatter's gone down. How about that?
They ain't nothing else to write about.
Yeah, chatter's gone.
They're not producing any story. The ladies are just chilling for now.
Yeah, they'll be back. I'm not gonna do a commercial today.
Oh,
we're just gonna go right into it. Hell in a Cell, 2022,
presented by Monday Night Raw.
Yes, might as well be a Raw branded pay-per-view. They are in fake Chicago, Rosemont, Illinois. You know what? I don't want to judge the card too much because we always do that, and we literally just did it with WrestleMania Backlash, and it ended up being a really fun show. And they all like the TV will be damn near abysmal leading to these shows, and the actual shows will be good. And that's the case here. I think the only thing that really got time and really mattered was Cody and Seth. You had Bianca, Asuka, and Becky Lynch in a really terrible program that really isn't their fault. So I'm gonna give them. I'm a lipo them for this week because it's not their fault. Mm-hmm. And then you got everything else.
Yo, Michael Cole really don't have to show up for the show at this point.
No, he doesn't.
Like,
he shouldn't.
All Raw.
He shouldn't. But listen, man. It could. There's some bangers on here. There's some bangers that they just added on here that had me thinking about the show differently. I'll tell you that much.
I think this show. I think we're just continuing to move on, and it's clear what they're targeting towards. And they're targeting towards that Money in the Bank and that SummerSlam, and I think that's what we're going towards. I think this show is, it's another one.
Could have been a special edition of Raw. Could have been. But one thing I would this might be controversial. I am glad there's only one Hell in a Cell match on this show.
I don't think that's controversial at all.
I'm glad there's only one. I think it makes the match more important than it's been in years by just having one.
If I asked you to name the last 10 Hell in a Cell matches, could you name them?
Absolutely not. I could not. I think the last one was in Saudi with Edge and Seth, and that's the last one I remember.
See, I forgot that. I was going to go to Bianca versus Bayley.
Well, that one happened, but that one happened more recently than that one did.
Oh, did it?
Yes, that one happened last October.
No, but Bianca versus Bayley happened like last June, July.
Edge and Seth happened last October. It happened more recently.
I'm saying. Oh, you were saying. I think we just miscommunication.
Yeah. I think that it reminds me of like those fight cards that are usually like the name of the match or the name of the whatever. That's
Right.
what that's what the show seems like to me now. It's like Hell in a Cell, but it's just for these two, and I'm
Mm.
glad. I'm glad that it's like that. I'm glad they didn't try and put too much dip on their chip and give it to somebody else. It's
Hey,
fair where it is.
hey,
I'm
wait a minute. You want to do
yeah.
some want to do some cute right beforehand? Really, real
What?
quick.
What?
You want to predict NXT too?
Real quick. Wade Keller just put out a really, really good article on the um MJF situation. He was only
Read
making
it.
from 40. Huh?
No, I was gonna
Read
say
it.
read it to me, Audible. Come on. Here we go.
Keller said the issues between MJF and Tony Khan have been. Shout out to Wade Keller. I've always said this. I believe Wade more than most people on certain things, and I said this during the Keith Lee thing.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the issues between MJF and Tony Khan have been brewing for a couple of months. On his no-show to the meet and greet on Saturday, Keller said that the way that it was portrayed to us is MJF was in no place to be in public. He was in a bad place. And so it just seemed, if not mutually agreed upon, it was pretty obvious to everybody that it would not be good for him to make a public appearance yesterday. So things got kind of rolling. I've been learning stuff behind the scenes, off record, on background for a while, and pieced together some more details as the story went along. This weekend was circled, I was told, as a weekend where people in AEW were hoping that Tony and MJF would sit down and hash out their differences. There was just a hope that cooler heads would prevail. Tony Khan on social media can come across sometimes as defensive, but his demeanor otherwise, from at least anything anyone's seen, is pretty calm, cool, and collected. MJF is a little different. He gets really worked up, and by all accounts, he's been so worked up that he just became sort of withdrawn and bitter to observers and people who have been around him or observed him at Dynamite lately. For the better part of 2 months, there has been tension between these two, and it initially appeared to be sparked by MJF not going through the PR department to schedule an interview that he did with Ariel Helwani back in April. And sorry for anyone listening to this. It's the first time I'm reading this, so I'm reading it literally as I go. He was told that the interview would have been approved had MJF gone through proper channels, and he didn't, and he was reprimanded for it because he was bypassing standard protocol. A key source in AEW, yeah, protocol. We know all about AEW interview protocol. I want to get to the contract stuff. Let me find that. Let me find the contract stuff.
Scroll on down, Audible. Come on now.
A starter deal in AEW is 40 to 70K. Oh,
Damn, bro.
Lord Jesus.
They probably was looking at your wedding like, damn, I hope one day I could I could be like this
Bruh.
nigga.
Oh my God. Nah, man.
Come on, man.
40 to 70. And like you can make a living, but it's a starter deal. You cannot, in fact, make a living off of that. I'm sorry. You cannot make a living off of that. And I know there's some people who are just on a per day basis, but this is among the people who started signing starter contracts, people without a lot of leverage and any national TV exposure. And Tony was at a point where he's handing out a bunch of contracts and wanted to see who would be good and who wouldn't be, and who he wanted to stick with and who he wouldn't. And so a lot of money goes out to people who, a lot of people, when you get that starter contract. And the idea for Tony is, when they come to the ones who deserve it, they'll get a raise. By the way, MJF was given a raise once since he signed to AEW. So it's making substantially more than a starter contract, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it is modest compared to the contracts of more than half a dozen free agent signings AEW has made over the past year. Christian, Mark Henry, Malachi, Adam Cole, Brian Dennison. That's 6 right there. And I'm leaving off a couple more. All of them are making more than MJF right now. And I'm told that with confidence. So yes, he got a substantial raise percentage-wise, but it's modest compared to the contracts of more than half a dozen free agents just in the last year. I think anyone would agree Brian Dennison and CM Punk deserve more than MJF. But you would argue that Adam Cole should probably be in the ballpark. And if he's paid more, it's not like a huge deal, but MJF has been more valuable to AEW than Adam Cole. If you look at Christian, Malachi, Mark Henry, I mean, he's obviously worth more, and he's been worth more to the company, and he's just not getting paid near what they're getting paid in most cases. Actually, in many cases, these wrestlers are getting paid 4 to 5 times more than him. So MJF, by all accounts, is fuming over this. By the time January 1st, 2022 came around, yes, he got a new contract and a raise, but MJF was thinking, come on, Tony, approach me. Get me on the level of some of these people you keep bringing in. I'm doing great work, drawing great ratings. And when Tony didn't do that, MJF, the way he handled it was to get angry very privately. Then he kind of exploded.
This is journalism right here.
Hey. I rather enjoy Wade Keller because most of the time he does do the work.
Let me tell you something. First of all, boot the NXT thing. Scrap that. Shout out to the War Report. We'll see you guys on Friday. I know what this is. MJF paying rent. And just like all the other rent prices in this damn country, they told him, yo, we're going to need a little bit more. So he goes to his boss, Tony Khan, like anybody else would go to, and says, yo, I'm going to need a little bit more. And Tony was like, yo, how much you need? You know what? I'll give you a little. You want 5%, 7%, 8%? I'm going to give you 8% because you know what? That thing you did with Darby Allin, that was a bang up job. I'm going to give you that because I know it's tough out here. It's tough out here in these streets. And then, I don't know, someone must have told him, must have seen Adam Cole pull up on the freshest thing. Must have seen Christian Cage.
Got a Tesla.
Christian Cage showing up in a matching Tesla, nigga.
You gonna cry in the Tesla, or are you gonna cry in the best friend's van?
What's her name? What's her name's mom pick her up?
Yeah, Trent mom, I don't know, bro. Hey,
carpooling to Daily Palace and shit.
Hey man, I don't want to laugh at people's financial circumstances. I'm more laughing at Tony Khan, bro.
I'm laughing at Tony Khan. I'm laughing at this situation because this situation, when you read about it and when you look at it, and quite honestly, we got
and compare this.
Sorry,
and compare this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I mean, comparatively to NXT developmental projections of their payment, this is 40 to 70 is close. But take into the account, they get the gym, they get the teaching, they get, you know what I'm saying? They put them up pretty well. They don't even have to pay for travel in NXT. You know what I'm saying? Like comparatively in AEW, I'm pretty sure they're not getting half of that, you know?
We just read this report.
Yeah.
But also we spent 25 minutes before pretty much saying all the shit that what he's saying here. I'm not saying believe us. I'm not saying the Discord is fire and you guys should sign up. All I'm saying is we got a general gist about these kind of things. So listen, if MJF don't want this nigga pulling up in a Tesla in the parking lot doing U's, but Britt Baker also got a Tesla. Listen, get your money, young man. Get your money. Let's get into Hell in a Cell. Let's go through Hell in a Cell real quick.
Man, that's crazy. Pay that man. Pay him. There's a chance that this could be settled in the next year and a half.
Yo, we talk about mad AEW this show.
No, I'm sorry. We're the damn near the disagreement report. Let's start off with just announced last night. 2 matches that were just announced last night. Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan versus the Judgment Day and Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley in a 6-person mixed tag team match. That group, the babyface group, needs a name, and they need a name like fast. This could be a sneaky banger right here. These guys know how to work.
I like it. I really do. I think everyone in this match knows their strength and knows how to work. Liv has improved so much. Rhea Ripley has improved so much. I think with Damian Priest and Edge, I think just Edge's mind within this match, AJ Styles' experience, Finn Balor is also in this match. Like, it's a banger. The only thing that would make it better if it was like no disqualification or some shit like that.
I mean, damn near better. I mean, they could work it like that. I think they will probably work it like kind of loose rules.
Yeah.
But good to see Finn on a pay-per-view again. Good to see him motivated, grounded, working. AJ being kind of like the elder saint, the dad of the group is really dope to me. I fucked with how I thought Liv and Rhea had a really good match on Raw, to be honest with you.
They did. They really did.
We haven't seen Edge for a while, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Edge will do his thing. Damian Priest knows his deal. This could be really fun.
I haven't seen Edge for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Hey, I'm sorry.
God bless.
But I mean, who do you think's winning this? Who do you think needs to win it?
I think Judgment Day needs to win it if they're going to be an actual group moving forward.
They win all the time. They win all the time.
But not as a group.
True.
Not as the Jericho Appreciation Society, nigga. Come on.
I think that this match will lead to a bigger match. I think it's just gonna be interesting to see how it shakes out. One thing I will say, I do think a title needs to be on hand for this a little bit. We need some stakes.
I agree. Someone got to give it up, by the way. Someone got to pass that buck, by the way. Someone.
Oh, man, I don't know who would get the title though.
Edge.
What title?
The big one.
Yeah, right. You trying to get that? You really trying to get that nigga to unblock you, huh? All right. Next match. Theory versus Mustafa Ali in his hometown. Singles match for the United States Championship. This was kind of made up. Poor Ciampa just being like, move to the side real quick. But this was kind of made up.
Mean. Tommaso Ciampa is a comma in a sentence, baby. Come on.
So I mean, they pretty much made this up. Theory did some chicanery to get around it, and you knew something was up when he said Vince McMahon, who has now flipped face, said he would like to see you in a real fight.
I would have been like, nigga, what? Nigga, what? What's going on here?
I mean, is the project over? Is this experiment over?
I hope so. I really do. I do not want to see this man's face no more, to be honest with you.
I think the experiment might be over, and hey man, swim good if this is the case. I don't know if they have Ali win in his hometown, but he has lost a lot. I think if he came back, right, Meelz, and just work with me here. If he came back and they were to give him what he wanted, so to speak, would you not give him the title for good faith at this point?
Yeah, I would give him for good faith, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I think it'll be a good match. I think
you don't even have to have it long, to be honest with you. They can bounce it back, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
I would at least give the title.
I think Ali. I think these two are pretty much a shoe-in for the Money in the Bank. Also, these two, but I'd give him the title. I think he deserves it. I think he's good. I think he'd be good for it. He's over. He's consistently over every time he's on. And people care about him. I think Mustafa Ali is going to win this. Be a good moment.
It should be a good moment, no doubt.
Ezekiel versus Kevin motherfucking Owens. Regular ass match. I have no hopes. I have no dreams. I have nothing for this.
I have no expectations. Just no expectations. Just go in and whatever happens, happens.
KO,
great segment on SmackDown. Great segment.
Oh, I love that segment because it and I said this in the chat. I said it was a non-linear way to continue that story without having Roman or the Usos there. It's to show that Kevin Owens sees through the BS in a way that he doesn't see through Ezekiel's BS like Sammy does. So both these guys are delusional in different ways.
Yeah,
and it was good to show that these two know each other so well that they know when each other's talking about bullshit, and it enhanced Kevin Owens' delusion, but more than that, really enhanced Sami Zayn's delusion in that there's going to be a fall for him soon, and you're wondering where it's going to be at.
I'm picking Ezekiel.
I think KO should win this.
He should, but I'm picking Ezekiel.
I'll pick Kevin Owens. He just had a fight with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was a month ago. Like, it just happened.
It's been a long month, brother.
Oh yeah, for me for sure. 2-on-1 handicap match. I fucking did a whiplash when I saw this. I was like, when was this even in the cards? But
Yeah, there's a whole contract signing about this shit now. Apparently, I was like, what? Yo,
I was like,
Bobby.
wait, what? Bobby Lashley versus Omos and MVP. I would imagine Cedric Alexander's there somewhere as their little assassin. I'm ready for this feud to be over.
Yeah, I don't care a shit about this shit.
I think Bobby Lashley is in a much better space if he's facing off against. I think he should definitely be the Monster Slayer on the show. I think that's a really good place for him. And I do think he should be facing Veer next. I think Veer is like the final frontier for him in terms of getting that guy over.
I feel like they're positioning him, especially Bobby as a face, to be another potential contender for Roman.
Yes.
So we're gonna see all
or for whoever gets it.
Right. Probably. I feel like he's gonna lose to Roman. I don't know.
Hey, everyone loses to Roman at least one time. I got Bobby Lashley winning this. I got Lashley winning this and pinning MVP. I don't think Omos takes another pin. So soon.
I agree.
Next match in the It's Not Our Fault emoji shrug. Bianca Belair versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch, triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. This match would have allegedly been Bianca versus Naomi, and I would imagine that Asuka Becky for the number one contendership would have probably been on the show as well if we were to do this the right way. But this seems like we're getting this now.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. It's gonna be a fun match. I'll say that.
It's gonna be good.
I feel like real good. Yeah, Becky really don't disappoint. Bianca don't disappoint. Asuka don't disappoint. I like them all. I've got no expectations for anything that's going on in this match. So I'm gonna say the winner will be us, the viewers. But in the reality of it all, Bianca will win.
The winner will be us, but I really hope that they kind of can course correct after this, because I know that this wasn't supposed to be what it was. And this wasn't supposed to be the idea of the match and all of that stuff. Like we were supposed to, and I would imagine that we would have got the Ronda match if that's the case. The SmackDown is not on this show at all, and I would imagine that we would have got that. And I was actually shocked they didn't go with Riddle and Nakamura even just winning that match on Monday just to have that one off, because it would have been a fun match, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I don't get the reasoning there, the thinking there. It's like Roman's all for a pay-per-view. I would not expect that to go over well with people, but Roman does indeed need a break. You know, I think he does need a break.
I don't know. I feel like with the built-in like base of like Peacock, it's not like they like pay-per-views. They not really like attractions, unless they're the big ones. In my opinion, the big ones will be the attraction. WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, they gonna have the bullet points on that about how much they drove in for Peacock. Money in the Bank, WrestleMania WrestleMania Backlash, Hell in a Cell, Clash of Champions, whatever. They know that that's not really gonna be a blip on the needle, so just do whatever with it.
Yeah, this seems like the real exciting shit is coming up in July, and we gotta sit through this. Bianca's gonna win. That is what it is. The most intriguing match. This is the match that everyone came here to see. Hell in a Cell match. Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins. Seth is down 0-2. Cody's up 2-0. The real question here is for you, Meelz, is that does Cody go 3-0, and then by proxy here, does he move on to Money in the Bank? And in addition to that, where does Seth go from here if that happens?
I call this from the moment the night after WrestleMania. Cody will go 3-0. It just will happen. Cody's already 2-0. He's already, if there's just a big 3 thing, he's already won the war. But no one's looking at Seth any differently. And no one will speak of Seth any differently if he loses 3 matches. I think Cody Rhodes is the priority, and he's going 3-0. I will also like to say that segment on Raw, tremendous. The highlight of
Real
Raw.
good. Real good. Real good. I didn't think he'd go there. I was wondering when they would. Loved Cody's reaction. I think he's been a net positive for that show, and a show that has very rare good. Like I could say, Rhea, I love. KO, I love. Cody, I love. Those are like top 3 things on that thing for me, on that show for me, consistently. But I think that again, with Cody, if he wins this, you kind of gotta, he's kind of got to be the favorite for Money in the Bank. He's got to be the favorite for whoever he faces. But that's the thing. Are they still doing that idea that they said in the commercial? They have not shown that commercial since they moved. For obvious reasons.
For
But
obvious reasons, nigga.
but they kind of got to give away the goat here on Monday, you would think, of what this briefcase will mean, because you also notice, Meelz, they have not explicitly said you can cash in at any time you want in these commercials. They have not said that at all.
No, they haven't. But
They said you can.
Will the commercials matter anymore?
Well, I think they will. I don't think the general idea of what they wanted to do is going to go away, but they're treating this like the summertime version of Royal Rumble.
Except it's the actual Royal Rumble where you get a chance at WrestleMania.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I see it. I'm following exactly where you're at. I see Cody in the main event of Money in the Bank, in the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's going to be a big coup for whoever gets it. And if he does win that Money in the Bank briefcase and goes to WrestleMania, I'm interested to see how it turns out in LA. Unless they want to have Dwayne Johnson run up the ladder real quick and call his shot.
Hey, somebody track flights from Canada.
Since y'all tracking flights, nigga. Since y'all tracking flights. Someone track a damn flight. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I do think Cody will go 3-0. I think it's no doubt in my mind he'll go 3-0. I think it'll be a hellacious match. I think it's going to be an incredible match. Seth Rollins does not disappoint. And I think crazy thing is, even though he lose 3 times, I still do think that Seth Rollins takes a lot of pride in the work that he does. Because it has not deterred him from being as extravagant. It has not deterred him from being as vicious. It has not deterred him from being as amazing in the ring, in any sort of the word, whether he wins or loses this feud.
All right. I hope he's good. I think the big question here is when Roman comes back from PTO, what's that summer look like for him?
Randy Orton.
Okay.
Randy Orton.
Oh, Randy Orton and Money in the Bank, you think?
No, I'm picking Randy Orton at SummerSlam. I mean, it could be Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, but I'm definitely going for SummerSlam. That's the big ticket right there.
I like the idea. I'd like the idea for Riddle at one show, Orton at the other show.
I would like that too.
Like Riddle do one show, Orton comes out at the end, and that's like to me that's the biggest pop you could do of the year, or one of the biggest pops you could do of the year is him coming back at the end of that, or somewhere
in the bank and saving him, and then setting up for the SummerSlam match, and then also losing, and then setting up for the Drew match.
Or I mean, you do that, you set up for that match, and then someone comes out and says, Drew comes out and says, "Okay, my turn, bitch." They gotta do something.
Listen, man. And then they all just warming up for Cody. Wrestling family versus wrestling family. Can't wait for the promos on that.
That'd be hard body. I think I'm ready for other people to hold that title now. Not gonna lie. I think I'm ready for other people to be the WWE
champion. We've been ready, bro. We've been like, yo, why didn't KO win Christmas 2020? 2020, he was like, yo, why didn't KO win this match?
Oh, man. Okay. Well, that is it. Hell in a Cell this Sunday. We'll be watching it, and then we'll be talking about it next week. You got an episode of Spot Callers coming up. We're talking about Vader. So I'm gonna be watching Vader all weekend. Me and Cyrus are gonna we're gonna tap in and talk about one of the best big men, one of the most violent big men of all time. We're gonna be talking about Vader on Spot Callers. So stay tuned for that this June. Rewriters Room, they're back. And you should definitely check out their new episode coming out this week as well. And Thank you guys for listening to the A Show. For Meelz, I'm Justin. See you guys next week. Peace.